There's a hair. Ouch. Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie Thompson, in case you didn't know who I am. Today's video, in case you didn't know by the title because you didn't read it, or you don't know what it is or how to actually say the word, I'm going to teach you how I make Yanikekes, or as some people call them, Johnny cakes or flour cakes, depending on where on earth you are from. I decided to make this because A, it's very easy. It's pretty much flour and salt water and a bit of oil to fry it. It's pretty easy. I just thought I'd record myself doing it because I needed to eat, and why not record it for you guys because I'm cooking. A little bit of background from it. I actually read this up online the other day, where Johnny cakes were actually in the States. It was the Native Americans that invented it technically in the States, but they had corn flour rather than normal flour. In the Latin American countries, it varies a little bit depending on what Latin American country you're in. But in Dominican Republic, where my mom is from, they it's pretty much flour and salt water, just normal flour and salt water. Very easy. And in our family, it's like our traditional poor man's dish. It's called a poor man's dish because you can get water from the tap, salt is really cheap, and so is flour. It doesn't really cost a lot of money. And yeah, that's why it's labeled the poor man's diet. Jessie as well today told me that the British Army used it because they were running out of food. This is what she said. I haven't actually looked it up, so if this is wrong, don't quote me on it. I didn't say it, I will deny it. But she was saying that because food rations and food was running out for the British Army, all they had was flour, and they were like, well, we're not just going to eat flour, but we have to eat something, so let's just add water into it, make it into a dough, and then fry it or do something like that. And so that's what they did. And that's where, it came in for the Brits, I guess, in a way, even though I haven't actually seen anybody else in the UK do that. With part of these videos, because I do want to show you some cooking, but I also want to give you a bit of, I guess, just exciting information about it, because there's a lot of cooking shows on YouTube, or cooking videos on YouTube, or baking stuff, and I guess just to be a little bit different, I wanted to give you more information rather than just showing you how to cook the things and then ingredients and all that stuff about the place that I'm making the food from, if that makes sense. So because for me it came from the Dominican Republic, I want to give you a bit of information about Dominican Republic, some of my own personal memories because I've actually been there. Half my family's from there, so I think one of the earliest memories I have of Dominican Republic was when my parents won a cruise. They won a cruise. I was 8 or 9, and we were staying at Abuela's house with my mom's sisters and brothers and stuff like that. And we lived, my abuela lives in the capital, just outside of it, and where she lives is like this hill. It's like a very steep hill that goes down, and then that's where her house is, and then it goes up again. And across the street from her lived these 3 other siblings as well, 2 girls and 1 boy. And we used to go over there all the time. They had like this, it's like a corner store. And we used to go there all the time and just hang out and buy their sweets because they're cheap, dirt cheap. And they liked us. I was labeled the white girl because even though I'm half Dominican, I was the whitest one of them all. I remember that because we hadn't been there in years, the last time any of us in our family had been there was whenever I was 1 or 2, because Jessie was born. Or maybe Ronnie was born too, so maybe I would have gone at 4. I can't remember. I was really young. A baby, basically. And the mosquitoes absolutely loved us. So our legs, from our ankles where our shoes started to the top of our legs where our shorts ended, were completely covered in mosquito bites. It was ridiculous. I remember just being that whole, I think it was like I can't remember how many weeks it was that my parents were on the cruise, but that whole time we were in the Republic, I just remember being like itching all the time, wanting to itch. I used to get slapped on the hands all the time because obviously I would scratch and somebody would, an adult would hit you on the hand because you're not meant to scratch your mosquitoes. And then if I didn't manage to scratch when nobody was watching, I would scratch so much that I would bleed. I think for some reason I had a bit more self-control, or maybe my body was just kicking in, like my immune system was kicking in and I was healing from it faster. But I don't have any scars on my legs, whereas Jesse and Vanya actually still have scars from those mosquito bites and the scratches. Also, another thing, the way to deal with the mosquito bites, my abuela used to put alcohol on it, like an alcohol medication. It's alcohol and something else. I can't remember what it was called, but she used to dab it onto, and it stung like crazy. I used to hate it. If you're ever going to Dominican Republic for a visit, make sure you bring a lot of mosquito repellent and a mosquito net, because you will get bit. They like sweet blood. It sounded like the mosquitoes there are some form of vampire or something. Also, they have one of the best ice creams I have ever tasted in my life. They make it all like from scratch, and it's natural stuff, so it's legitimate cream that just came in from the cow out the back. If it's a strawberry ice cream, they just brought in fresh produce strawberries. They're chopping it up right there in front of you, taking the little stem off and blending it, and then there you go in a little pot. And it was just amazing. It was epic. I loved it. You know how there's certain things that people crave, and if you travel, there's certain things that you crave from that certain country. In the Dominican Republic, it is hands down the helados bon, which is it's the ice cream shop. That's what it's called. It's like the chain, kind of like McDonald's, except it's just ice cream. My mouth is like watering. Anyway, that is it for the history and a bit of background, the background for the Yanikekes, but also a bit of a story into my life, in case you were wondering what on earth Ali is from and why she does what she does. But yeah, there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will be back next week with another video, probably another cooking one, if not another, who knows, I haven't decided that yet. Hope you guys have a lovely day, and see you later. Bye! So yes, to make these, self-rising flour, salt, water, bowl, and a rolling pin. Add the salt to the cold water beforehand, just to make sure that it is a salty water and well mixed and everything. The flour doesn't have to be self-rising, it just has to be some form of flour. I like it to rise a little bit while it's frying, but that's just my own preference. Anyway, add a bit of salt water to the amount of flour that you desire. No measuring cups, as you can tell. But yeah, just sort of look and see how it goes. Add a little bit because you want to form a nice dough, not a pancake soup sticky mess. Obviously, if it's too sticky, add more flour. If it's too floury, like I just did, add more salt water. Form it into a bowl, and then flour surface and knead it a little bit, just to sort of form all the pieces, because mine, sometimes it tends to fall apart a little bit. But yeah, just sort of making sure it's a nice rounded ball of dough. Excuse me. Yeah, as you get to that desired round non-sticky effect, take a little piece off. This also depends on how big you want these Yanikekes. I like them to be sort of more of like a pancake-sized, small pancake-sized flatbread. Roll the thing out. And yeah, basically you want it to be pretty thin because you're frying it. You're not deep frying it, but you're frying it to where it's like a pretty thick amount of oil in the bottom of the frying pan. But because you're frying it, the flour sometimes just sort of, rubs off to the bottom and it makes the oil burn faster. You don't want that. So just, roll it out to a thin-ish sort of size. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Thin flatbread. And then just shake off any excess flour before you put it into the frying pan. Now, when you take it to the frying pan, you want it to be medium-high heat. And you're going to put it in, like I'm showing you here, with as little flour as possible. And this should take about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. You want it to be sort of like a nice tanny sort of shade, kind of like a pancake shade. Bubbles should form on the top of it because it's trying to rise with the heat. And that's if you're using self-rising flour. Anyway, once you're done on both sides, take it off the frying pan, shake off any excess oil, put it onto a paper toweled plate if you want to, but I was munching on it, so I didn't do that. And that's your flatbread. You can also stuff it if you want to, but I didn't for this time. I will show you that next time. Hope you guys liked it. Enjoy your Yanikekes, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.